I believe, Gigi has our invitation. I do. Let us pray. You, Lord, help
past with gratitude and to the future with hope. Help us aspire for things beyond ourselves. Make us unafraid of hopes and dreams. Teach us to be realistic about our limitations, but never to lose hope in our potential to transcend them. Guide us in our service and bless people around the world who are touched by our work so that they too can have the joy of a fulfilling life. For friends, food, and the fellowship afforded, we give thanks today. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the things they
What
say
they say and do.
The truth is declared all concerned, will do goodwill of every interest, will be beneficial to all concerned.
All right, well done. Rear tire started that arm. John Kim.
And now, thank you to the side.
John Van, yeah.
Let me tell you what an honor, if you have the opportunity to start your, what an honor. It's 7 in the morning, you guys and this are wonderful to read. I mean, that's sincerely, you know, what a great. We have 28 Rotarians, which are 280. And we're very blessed, it's a 28 in attendance, and we're very blessed, with wonderful guests. I'd like to start with Guy Romano, Aaron Romano, and Olivia Romano.
Very on the nose. Beth taller, but she is attending RILA this summer, so we had her come to meet our other RILA recipient this morning at breakfast.
Our member Jim Kennedy is one of the friends Wendell and Donovan Calhoun.
I want to introduce Wendell Calhoun, who I serve on the Living Connection Board with, and Donovan Calhoun is going to be our second RILA student attending this June.
We have a visiting Rotarian because he heard we have an incredible breakfast. His name's David Lohan.
David Willis. Airport Rotary, glad to be here. Hope to see some of you at the district conference if you can make it, and appreciate everything.
Chip person was very nice to bring Marianne.
Conta Giannis.
Exactly.
This is my good friend Mary Ann. She is running for the U.S. House seat that's open in the 6th district. She's been around, and while Rotary is not interested in politics, we are interested in electing good people to public office. That would be her.
Of course, we have a wonderful guest speaker, Marianne, with not delivered.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge Jim Kennedy because Jim has really been instrumental in initiating and getting this RILA kicked off. And so we have 2 great RILA applicants that we're really excited about. And I know that it'll be a great program for you. So thanks for coming today. Rick Martin, do we have any birthdays?
Well, do we ever? We have a couple of weeks because somebody didn't show up last week. So I'll cover for you this week. Good morning. How's everybody? All right. We do have some club anniversaries, wedding anniversaries, birthdays, we've got all today. The club anniversary, Tony Billier, with us today on thing, he has 6 years. Dr. Wall. I've seen, yes, sir. Club anniversary. April 1st was that just next school. How many years, buddy? It's good. I don't know. I'm 49, so. Yeah, I think you've been here since 1905. Yeah. 26 years, thank you, Paul. 26 years, that's wonderful. Chris Jackson, he's coming up on 4. Ryan Kaiser, I looked here today. There he is, yeah. And how many you got, man? 3, maybe? 5. Well, you're close. There's 1 too many there. 4. And let's see, we have Peter Rithhoff, right?
He's
Is that it? It's all right. Yeah, Peter's not here, but I just want to say, trying to learn. All right.
Good luck.
And wedding anniversary is way back at 28th of March, Ross Geller. Y'all remember Ross? He's Melanie had an anniversary on the 28th.
Luckily, I remember.
Yeah, good. And Robbie Hassel. Let's see, I think maybe Saturday, maybe that. Good call. Yeah, you know these. Congratulations. Oh, boy, birthdays. Let's see, Mr. James Bagram. I know you're here. Right here in front of me, yes, sir, 29th of March. Yes. All right, happy birthday. And Chris Neal, 3rd of April. Chris. Back here. There you go, there he is, hiding behind the guy. Let's see, happy birthday, my man. And let's see, we had Stephen Sotoa, is he here? He's not. Well, we don't get to sing happy birthday. And I would have one tomorrow, but I ain't doing them anymore. That's it. Yeah. So anyway, we missed singing, and that is our report today.
Thank you. Hey, how about happy dollars?
How about happy dollars? What I'm talking about.
Wow.
Baby.
Oh.
I got a couple. For Steve Scott, I have the raffle basket and the credit card machine ready to pass off to you. Fundraiser chair, he has a great committee. Last year, we had 3 people. Donnell and Lisa did most of it, so he's done really good. For Judge Haskell, I was there Monday night. He always makes the new member thing just like so great, and they're just so impressed. It was really nice. I enjoyed it. Another one's for the Carolina fans. I don't watch basketball. I watched that whole game, and they played their hearts out. So nothing to be sorry for. They played really well. Sorry, and I'll score for them.
Thank you. All right.
As you all know, I'm not from here. I'm from the middle down here. I did not follow basketball. Hockey, baseball, yes. But after watching that series, I learned so much about basketball. And I am now a UNC.
And yet none of us are Hawks fans.
All right,
Venmo again.
Venmo.
I've got 5 Venmo dollars. God, absolute gratitude across the board. Shiji, how many event tickets have you sold? 16. Wow. And they are coming in at us right now. And you know, last meeting, Guy questioned whether there might be room at the inn, room enough at the inn, and so our committee went over to the Grand River the other day, and it was a loaves and fishes concept. As soon as we told them how many we were expecting, she didn't bat an eye and just opened up a little bit more room and showed us how we were going to use the space that we're in. The committee that I'm working with is phenomenal. And if anybody ever questions the energy that comes from this club and the members of this club, it just bubbles up everywhere. I was at a get together, it was a 505, but several of us got together to discuss fundraiser. And the excitement, we have a new member, Amy Burris, who just like, she's has a background in that, and it's just, let me out, you know, and it's just phenomenal to be working with these kind of people. And you can probably tell by my demeanor
and I'm really pleased. It's definitely escalated. And John Kemp, what an asset to the club. It's so great to have.
Or wait till you get to know the
Your positive energy is exactly what inspires me of late for this club. So, thank you.
Bobby Steve, got two happy dollars. All right. Missed you guys last week. Twice a year I have to travel. Yeah, we know. And we have to go outside the United States. It's terrible. But with Tom and Diane Allen, we were in Nassau, Bahamas. So many of you remember Tom, past president of this club. We played some golf. We drank a little bit too. So that was good. And then Monday had the pleasure of going down to Masters and buying this shirt.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Mary Ann's running for Congress and coming here. I'm gonna let her tell you, it's a paid political announcement, $5. We won't take more than 2 minutes, I promise.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Hi, Ray. I am Mary Ann Compajanis. I grew up here in Greensboro. I waited on you to Crawford's restaurant growing up. My family started that restaurant 54 years ago. My brother runs it now. It's downtown. My brother would pick us up from school. We do our homework. We have a family booth, right? People do not sit there and get up and work. I grew up with a really strong work ethic from my family, family, community outreach. We're very religious-based people. Still a member of my Greek Orthodox Church right down the road, corner of West Virginia Friendly. Have served in various capacities there. I am a plastic surgeon, so part of it is I became the American dream for my parents. They immigrated from Greece to America, but as I say, they came over the right way. Their families sponsor them. They had to actually learn English, take a history test, have a background check before they became citizens and traveled with their own. And so I'm really interested in running for Congress now because I feel we need to change the direction of our country a little bit, kind of regroup, and I'm willing certainly to do that. And I hope I can get the support of my colleagues here in Greensboro. It is a 6th district, which includes all of Guilford County. So everyone would be in the district. It includes Rockingham, a little bit of Forsyth, and most of Castle County. Our primary is the 17th. That's most important because you have to, with a primary, to go on to the November election. Now, I'd appreciate any support. We'll be happy to answer any questions anytime.
And she never worked on me. I can't
Mr. Quickly, thank you, Steve, for the next words, but this is a great group. I've only had the privilege of being around them for a couple of weeks. And we are now starting the Canadian Army. I didn't realize it. I'm Canadian. Toronto? Yeah, I was alive in '67 the last time I went to stand. That's not a
First one's for Steve. It's been really fun to watch him start out sweating. And
I'm still sweating.
just to watch her energy rise, and really, I'm sure we're all looking forward to a great day. My other one is for Rosa, just to keep you updated. She's on her way to Morocco. So prayers for her safe return back to Florence. And then Victoria, so young female, she's very involved in Young Life. I've talked about that. Our club was very generous to honor Young Life of Greensboro with one of the grants this year for children that are less fortunate, that maybe can't afford to go to these camps. It changes their lives. Victoria applied to do work crew this coming summer, and you never know where you're going to get to go. And her dream is since 9th grade was to get to be a senior, get to apply to this, to get placed, and she got in, and she anxiously awaited, and she's being sent to Colorado. Well, we have to pay for the tickets, but she gets to go to Colorado. Work crew is not easy. She could be cleaning toilets, serving food, working in the kitchen. She's done a lot of that. Last year got sent to up in the mountains of North Carolina. So very excited for her. And just wanted to also mention grateful for Rotary for considering and honoring them and support this year. Thank you.
All right.
Just a $50 for something that Tom Richardson announced in the club 2 years ago, and I'm going to announce it today. Tom had 2 PSL, Carolina Panther PSLs, that he was willing to give away, announced it to the club, and I took him up on it. Well,
cut into my hunting and fishing too much. I went to every game, it was great, but I'm gonna give them away as well. So if anybody's interested, let me know. There is a $400 transfer fee that the parents charge. And then you gotta buy the season tickets, which is about $1,600. $2,000 for 2 seats, 10 games. It's actually a pretty good deal, but I gotta do my.
The club actually gets a commission.
No, I want to give, I've got $10 and obviously the Tar Heels, you know, the Tar Heel fans, we had low expectations this year and, I must admit, I was very content and happy to see how far we went until we were up by 15 and a half, and then I got greedy, and then I got crushed. So anyway, proud of the Tar Heels, and then another one for I sort of not consciously but inadvertently bought tickets to opening night at Hamilton last night, and I didn't realize it was opening night. But I'll tell you what, I was sort of a skeptic about this whole Tanger Center, but it is unbelievable. And it has a little bit different experience than the original characters on Hamilton, but it was well worth the money, and if you get a chance to go, it'd be great. So, anyway, and Grandpappy Lewis, he has a pro marriage tip. Never ask your wife when dinner will be ready when she's mowing the lawn.
Meeting adjourned.
Just a quick announcement. I have, this is not a happy dollar, but it is a happy dollar. I'm gonna be out of the country for 2 weeks, traveling. Gigi, our group, we have probably 10 or 11 other women. Most of us are Rotarians, some from other clubs. But Tom is going to practice. So be nice and be kind. And at this time, Tom, come up.
I meant to mention too, on the Ryla people, I signed my daughter up for Ryla and she was like, are you kidding me? It's in the summer. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. She still talks about it till today. She loved that program. It's really great. So you guys will enjoy it. I'm going to introduce Mary Ann Donadia. She's a Catholic wife of 6. She has an interesting story. She was had a teen pregnancy, and that's what got her interested in what she does now. It's funny you said room at the inn. That's where she works. She's the marketing director here in Greensboro, and they work with single homeless pregnant people. She was lucky enough to have a supportive family, but it really opened her eyes to what's out there. She's going to talk about the program now. So come on up, Mary Ann. Got a big crowd.
Good morning. So I'm not going to be as entertaining as you all have been so far this morning, I'm afraid. I have only had 1 cup of coffee too, so if I go a bit off track, can you hear me? Okay. So I appreciate the opportunity to share with you about Room at the Inn though. We have been in Greensboro. We opened our doors in 2001, so 21 years now, and most of you have never heard of us, which is my fault because I'm charged with telling people about us. So we serve pregnant women who are homeless. If you can imagine, most of the women that come through our doors are going to be a bit of a downer, I'm sorry. Most of the women that come through our doors are not only homeless, not only pregnant, don't have a car, don't have any kind of family support, don't have an education, don't have a job, and really are in a situation that is more desperate than you can imagine. A lot of them also have other issues like background of domestic violence or substance abuse or other types of neglect in their background. Some of them have been chronically homeless their whole lives. So there are a lot of challenges that we're dealing with, other than just finding homes for these women when they leave us and having healthy births of their babies. To that end, we have quite a tight ship that we run. We only serve 6 women at a time. We're licensed by the state to serve 6 pregnant women. And we can also accept existing children. So if a mother comes to us with a 2-year-old, she's able to come with that child to stay with us, so they don't have to be separated, which is the case at most maternity homes across the country. And we, when they first come in, we do an assessment to see what kind of help they need. Like I said, it can vary. We do everything from eye exams to mental health evaluations to, you know, anything that they might need while they're with us. And then we set up goals for each mother based on her situation. So for some of our mothers, they might come to us already working. Others might not have a job yet, and if they're going to find a job and they're already showing that they're pregnant, that might not be possible. So we want them to do something constructive while they're with us, not just sit around watching daytime soaps. So then we'll try and encourage them to sign up for some type of education, whether it's finishing their GED that they never finished, or going to community college and getting a CNA certificate or something like that. We've had mothers that have done forklift driving certifications, or, you know, just anything to improve their situation. And so we start our day every morning with assembly and devotions and breakfast, and then they are expected to go off and do constructive stuff during the day. We do provide childcare for any existing children and transportation so they can get where they need to go. And then we have lunch available at the house, but they can also take it with them. We have dinner again in the evening with another assembly and devotions. We are a faith-based organization, but we don't deny service to a mother who might not want to participate in that. So what we do is we have a voluntary program called our Pratt 31 Formation Program, which they can choose to take part in, and if they do, then they get points. That they will get points for participating in devotions in the morning and evening, for going to church on Sunday, or they have to choose whatever church they want to go to. We don't tell them where they have to go. They get points for volunteer work and for doing things around the house that's just over and above what they're expected to do anyway. Those points we can also take away from them, so it's a little bit like kindergarten star system. But when they have their baby, those points become dollars. So for a mother who hasn't been able to work while she's with us, that allows her to be able to earn money to be able to pay deposits and things like that when she moves out. It's better than us just giving it to her. So that way she has a sense of doing this herself. And the other part of it is if a mother has come to us in the beginning of her pregnancy and established a relationship at a church, when she leaves us after 15 months or so, she's got a whole network of people there who will support her, babysit, take her to the store, things like that, that will help keep her stable after she leaves us. So what else? After our babies are born, we also have a aftercare program that allows our mothers to come back to us for as long as they need help to get things like diapers, formula, baby clothes, equipment. We have a childcare scholarship program. So if a mother starts going back to work after baby's born, we'll pay for childcare upfront 100%, and then we'll wean her down. So the next month is 75%, the next month is 50%, and so on. And hopefully by the time our scholarship is played out, then she'll have qualified for some type of scholarship subsidy through the government, being poor that most of our mothers are. So that doesn't stop her from working, because that can be a big hurdle to a lot of people. So also we have financial loans that we'll give to our mothers if they've been gone, say, 2 years and they're working a minimum job with no paid time off, and they get sick and they haven't got a good paycheck 1 week, then they get behind on rent, and we don't want them becoming evicted and back on the streets again. So we're able to provide small loans. They get paid directly to the person that is owed the money, not in cash to our mothers, but then they can just pay us back $10 a month if that's all they can afford until that's done. And so that's another small thing that we can do to really help keep our mothers stable after they leave us. because we're not just having these babies born and saying, good luck, you know. So another program we have that I think is really cool is our college program. That allows a mother that has graduated in our program, have her baby with us, to go on and complete her education. So most of our mothers unfortunately don't want to go on and get an education, but those who do, we want to allow them that opportunity. So we provide them with continued housing and childcare while they're in school. And so some of our mothers will stay up to 5 years to complete a bachelor degree, which really, as you can imagine, makes a big difference in what she's able to do to provide for her family once she leaves us. We did have a mother, when you talk about success, we had a mother that came to us that was living in a car, and she went through our program and had her baby, and then chose to go on to utilize our college program. She went through that. She went to Bennett College for Women here in Greensboro. She graduated summa cum laude and was valedictorian, giving a speech at graduation. Went on to get her master's in clinical social work, and she works actually with some of the mothers that come through our program now. So that's a success story, but we really consider it to be a success when any mother who has absolutely no one in her life to help her in a situation like this is able to find the help through the community support that people like you all offer by supporting her at the end. It's just frightening to imagine being in that situation. And I personally, like Tom mentioned, had the fortune of being in a crisis pregnancy, if you want to call it that, when I was 17, and having a family that was there to support me. But it made me really realize that if you don't have that family support, you really don't have many real options. And so that's what drew me to working in this area. And it is very rewarding. Sometimes it seems very sad and tragic, but when you see the changes that are made in the lives of these women, it's really exciting. You know, all of us need a little bit of help at some point in our lives, and it's just their turn to need the help and our turn to give it. And also, of course, I love babies, because you know, you may have heard I have 6 of my own, so that's great too. But what else have I not told you about the program? Just the program itself, like I said, it's very structured. We have case management for our mothers that requires them to meet every week to be accountable for what they've accomplished that week. We have life skills classes, teaching everything from budgeting to keeping mold out of a house, pregnancy education so that they know what to expect with their pregnancy, nutrition, and parenting education is a big piece of our puzzle too, because most of our mothers do choose to parent their child. We do offer adoption counseling, but that just really isn't the choice that most of our mothers make. Maternity homes back in the day used to be a place where a teenager would get pregnant, and because she wasn't married, and the social stigma of being pregnant and not married would force her to go to a maternity home, have her baby, put it up for adoption, and then go back and pretend like she'd been visiting her aunt. That is not what a maternity home is today. There is no social stigma left to being pregnant outside of wedlock. Most of the women in America that give birth today are not married. And so the women that come through our doors are there because they have nowhere to go. They are poverty stricken. Also, we don't really see teenagers anymore. Most teenagers that get pregnant are still living at home. Their parents either say, okay, that's cool, we'll help you, or they take them down to the abortion clinic, and that's that. So we just see women who are in their mid-20s, they've been out on their own, they've failed, and they are, you know, they hit rock bottom. So we have a lot of issues to deal with, but you know, we really are quite successful in turning things around. Yes.
I can't imagine the challenges that you face in any situation like that with an unwed mother, homeless mother. But two questions in my mind. What is it like for transitioning someone who's homeless into the environment that you provide with other people? And then 2, with those that have addiction issues and they're now pregnant, how does that go?
So first question, transitioning into a community setting where everyone has to be considerate of each other living in one house. That is interesting, especially when you add pregnant hormones and a full moon sometimes. It does become very springer. But because of those, all those variables, we do keep a pretty tight, like I said, pretty tight hold on what the rules are. Because of the point system, our mothers have an incentive to follow those rules. And it does work really well if we are just nip it in the bud when things start coming up. A lot of people drawn to this work are sort of bleeding heart, want to help people, but we have to really vet the people that are involved with our mothers to help them understand that the more strict you are up front, the more you'll actually really be able to help. We've had experiences in the past where we've had mutiny room at the inn and we've had to get everyone out and start again because it's gotten so out of control. We've had staff that doesn't keep things going well. So that was a long time ago, but we're not going to go there again. And they do all have their own rooms with ensuite bathrooms, which allows them, if things get hairy, to just retreat and stay, where they have privacy. And that's one of the reasons that we do it that way instead of shared rooms, is because everyone really does need to have a personal space available to them. To answer your second, did that answer your first question? And your second question now, I can't remember what it was.
Substance abuse.
Oh, yes. So more and more we're seeing drug issues with our mothers. If our mother is willing to try to kick the habit, we will work with her. If she has no intention whatsoever of trying to get off drugs, then we won't, because there are other mothers waiting to get in who do want help and are willing to help themselves. So I mean, we will take a mother to a methadone clinic every morning and keep it locked up on the weekends and things like that. We want to have babies born drug free, and we have a pretty good record of that, even with pretty severe cases up front. So we don't have doctors or nurses on staff, but we partner with people outside to ensure that happens. So, yes.
You may want to give the group an indication of the longevity of your organization.
Well, yes, we opened our doors in Greensboro in 2001. And prior to that, actually, my boss started a similar home in Charlotte in 1993, which when we opened Greensboro became a separate agency. So yeah, we've been in this for quite a long time. Guy, sorry. Yes.
So if you could fulfill the need for the entire county or whatever, how many beds or rooms would you need?
That's a good question, because we do stay full. But there are other maternity homes in North Carolina that don't. And I think the difference is that we do accept existing children, and there's a need for that. It's really hard to judge because we have, the way we have our waiting list is not necessarily first come, first served. We'll get a call, and if we don't have space, if it's very dire need, like if it's wintertime and a mother is living on a park bench, we can put her in our house next door. So I haven't told you about our house next door, but we have a house next door that we use for the college program. Also for women waiting to get into the program, and that's where they also go after they've had their baby. So we normally have some room in that house. We can house her until there's an opening in the maternity home. So when someone calls, it's always a crisis, but when we call them back sometimes to say, oh, we have a bed, then they've worked out some relationship that they were, having a fight in, and suddenly now they're okay. And so it's not just, the first person that serves us gets put at the top of the list. We put the person who's in most need at the top of the list. Also, if someone calls us when they're 8.5 months pregnant, we're not really going to have to do much in the remainder of their pregnancy with them. So we're really looking for people earlier in their pregnancy. And I'm not really sure, to answer your question, what the total need is. But the size that we've chosen is big enough to where we feel like we can make a difference. We have about 15 babies born every year on average. And our staff is small enough that we can afford to pay them. So we are, like I mentioned, we're licensed, but as a requirement of licensing now, you also have to be accredited. So
accreditation requirements are such that anyone that has contact with a client has to have gone through a lot of training, background checks, TB tests, physicals, all sorts of things. And it makes it prohibitive for us to use volunteers unless they want to be full-time volunteers as staff, you know, in the house. So we just have to be careful with how much staff we have just for cost reasons.
So would you say that the need is much greater or about where y'all are, or?
I think it's greater, but I don't think it's much greater. Yeah. Yes.
You have connections, first you're an angel on earth.
Very lucky to be able to do my work as well.
Well, you know, and having experienced person, you know, it's hard not to say the wrong thing. You gotta stop having these speakers that break, make you cry. Anyway, I work in consulting, so this is the reason I'm asking this question. So I think the opportunity for, I'm thinking corporate America, you know, be it donations of diapers or pharmaceuticals to help with some of the formula for some of the OBGYNs, maybe volunteer their time rather than nothing against people who go overseas and stuff, but also to help next door, like the guy went and, you know, help with, you know, in Iraq or what have you, but also have the OBGYNs come and give some of their time freely to help. You have a lot of that going on. If you don't,
So we
maybe
do.
I'll try to see if I can help.
Yeah, so we do in some things, like you mentioned diapers, we actually get all our diapers free through the Diaper Bank of North Carolina. It's not a corporation, but they do get theirs from the manufacturers. So we're very fortunate in that case. And baby wipes, we don't, just putting it out there.
But I would think if you, sorry to interrupt, if you had someone, maybe it's you, that reaches out to corporate America, how this doesn't touch everyone's child, I'll never know. I mean, I think if you ask, I think you'll get it.
Yes.
Do you have someone in that kind of role?
That would be me, unfortunately. And I have a few roles, so, yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I face right now is anytime you reach out to a corporation, you just get told, oh, fill out this online request form. And then, you know, you just end up in a black hole. So unless I can meet with a particular person, which sometimes is really difficult to do, it just kind of, it's like applying for a job. You just kind of submit your resume and never hear anything again, you know. That's my biggest issue with that.
Marianne, I think John just volunteered.
Yeah.
We can certainly connect you guys. I think there are plenty of people in here that are willing to help.
I think that's silly, yes. Do you have a card or something?
I do in my bag over there. I'll get you one. Yeah, I'll definitely get you one. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any other questions about what I've said? I know you've got other things to do today. But I just want to make sure you will have your questions answered. All right, well, thank you very much. Oh, yes, Carrie.
Tell them the location of the home so that if they're in the area, they can pass by and
Yes.
see how beautiful it is.
Sure.
Very warm and inviting.
Sure, and I should also mention that we do accept all kinds of donations because all of our mothers obviously are going to be going into an apartment for the first time with nothing. So if you have old dishes or towels or sheets or, you know, anything that you would need to set up an apartment, we'll take those things if they're gently used, because otherwise we'll have to go out and buy them. So I'll just put that out there too, and obviously baby clothes and things too. Yes.
Do you have connections to the HUD and the apartments? and stuff?
Yes,
Great.
yes. Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just wondering, after you progressed through the program, you began to settle, is there a support group that forms of the women who've been through the program to help each other be?
Yes, yes. So we do try to encourage that because that is very helpful for them. And to that end, we have a quarterly gathering that we sponsor, whether it's at our house and sometime we might have a cookout and invite all our alumni to come back. In the wintertime, we sometimes go to Chuck E. Cheese, which is my least favorite place. But the kids can run around and make noise and it's warm. But so we have these quarterly gatherings for them to network. And we also have a Facebook page that's private for them to share photos and information. Like if somebody discovered, oh, you know, you can get this help from here, you know, you might need to. So we share all that kind of information with them. And then my favorite thing is when they do come back to the house and the mothers that are in the program right there, they want to tell them how great the program is and just stick with it and, you know, don't worry about all the rules and the curfews and the chores because this is the best thing that ever happened to us and we're so grateful and you just keep with it, you know, which is great coming from them instead of us, you know, we can stand there and kind of be like, yeah. But they do support each other. Some of them have friendships that last, you know, 10, 15 years. So it is a good thing to encourage us. And you had a question, yes?
Yes, as you know, I'm here visiting from another Rotarian club, but our motto and theme this year is serve to change lives. So I absolutely adore what you are doing. So I'm gonna segment on what he said. I mean, if there's a list of things that you need, such as baby wipes.
Yeah.
Please share that with Lisa here so that she can share it with my Rotary Club. I'll give you an example too. Have you heard of the Barnabas Network?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We
love that.
Okay. You spoke about
Yeah.
furniture and apartments and moving.
Yes, so
That's-
furniture, yes, and furniture, we used to have all the furniture and big things that
Yeah.
our mothers would need. Also, we would have to go pick it up and
Yeah.
store it. And when we discovered Barnabas, we were so happy.
Great organization.
Yeah.
We do a lot with them too, and it can be kitchen utensils, to furniture, to lamps, et cetera. So I wanted to plug them in
Yes,
as
yes.
well. And just one example for this club, Derek and Barnabas, this is maybe 4 months ago, they were in dire need of just one thing, pillows. And luckily for us, Target was running a sale for pillows, and they needed 100 pillows. Within 1 week, our club got like 120 pillows. Brought there, we had pillows spread out all over the floor, and we were jumping. So baby wipes is easy. If there's anything else you need, just let us know.
Well, I will say, we do have a very extensive wish list on our website. If you guys want to check it out,
Okay.
you can do that.
Okay.
And I don't know if I just share the website, it's
Yeah, what's the
www.
website?
It's room in, like room at the end, but without at, it's just room in with 2 N's.org. Yeah, I think that's everything then. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'd like to acknowledge Carrie Redondo because she introduced me to Mary Ann and this organization. So thank you. We normally have you draw the raffle, but I don't know where the bowl is, so who has it?
All good money.
Not touch part.
About the organization. Carrie.
She has never last comment, she's wonderful, and the last 3 digits are 718, guys, 718. Oh my God. He might win. What? You got the cards? Yeah.
This guy.
I didn't win, so it's a great day. It's a club, it's a club.
Enjoy it.